The process in automating your pre-roll packaging begins with high quality cones. I can't stress this enough. Quality in, quality out. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain some of the nuances in pre-rolls, talk about some of the suppliers that we use, and just show you some physical examples. So I've never opened these boxes. I'm going to open these for you. This is JuanaRoll, who supply around the world, and this is Jiva. These products are both made in Indonesia and super high quality. Now, why do we appreciate working with Jiva and JuanaRoll? And we work with other brands as well. We're not married to any brand, but we do work with these companies often. And the reason is simple. Their product is of high quality and it's very consistent. Consistently round, easy separation. And I'll show you an example here of just how round a JuanaRoll cone is. I don't know if you can see that or just take my word for it. It's incredibly consistent. And we'll grab some Jivas here as well. So very round, consistent, and they have a lot of supply. We haven't had customers not be able to get product as well. So that's an important feature. Now, a couple little tricks of the trade. So first thing we want to find in a cone is we want consistency and we want the openings round. Why do we want them round? Well, if they're round, they're easier to fill because you're going to have more space to fill milled cannabis. If they're bent, you have less space, which means spillage and inconsistencies. So it all starts with being round. What's also important to see is the papers, you're not having any fins stick out inside of them, which is important as well because that's going to impede the product getting into the cone. So a couple of things I want to share with you. Now, what's really important is where your cones are manufactured, by whom they're manufactured, and how consistent you receive them. So in this case, this was the same supplier, the same marketing on the box or the same brand, but clearly they came from two different locations. Be really careful. We've seen this in certain countries where product is produced that brands are using multiple facilities. And at these multiple facilities, of course, different companies are going to produce in different ways. They're going to have different standards. They're going to have different packaging. They might even have different paper. So just be careful. You want to make sure there's some tells. Make sure the packaging is always consistent. So here you can see clearly there's a difference. So that's really important. Also, ask your vendor. Tell them you're using an automated pre-roll machine and ask them, do they have different grades of cones for automation versus hand packaging? That's something else that I learned in the industry that I didn't realize was a real thing. That some companies, they'll have different standards of quality depending on whether you hand pack or use a machine. So we've had customers that had great quality on installation and they found cones that were different or performed completely differently. Then when we spoke to the manufacturer, they had shipped a replacement product. And that was exactly the reason. They had different SKUs, even though the labeling was the same and the package was the same. So be careful. All right, I want to give you an example of some lousy cones. So here's an example. Here's a good one. So here you're going to see just how bent these are. Look at that. There's nothing round about it. I would never put these in an automated pre-roll machine. Return these back to your supplier. And then let me show you an example of JuanaRoll up and close and just see how round that is. So there are differences in quality. I think what can be dangerous at times is when purchasing is making the decision solely based on unit cost. It's important to get samples and review them with your production team and make sure that this is what you're looking for. Other things that we'll notice with lesser quality cones, that I can't even make that up. That just happened. Look at the glue stuck on these cones. Wow, look at this. They're stuck together. Cone quality is critical. So you know what? Let's just forget about these cones for a minute. So let's just focus on these brands for now. Often we're using cone sizes of 84s, 98s, 109s, 120s, 140s. Both these companies offer the full gamut of these sizes. I'll show you here of the Jivas as well. And you're going to see just how easily they all come up. So again, be careful with cone manufacturing. All cones are not equal. There are different levels of quality. It doesn't mean that other brands aren't able to produce the same quality. It just means that you have to have more detailed conversations more vetting and more collaboration between all businesses. So keep that in mind. If you're ever unsure, please send us boxes to our facility. It'd be our pleasure to run them on our machinery and give you our feedback. We always want to work in a collaborative way. If you have a supply chain that's intact, our goal is to not change your supply chain. We want to work with your partners and together produce or be able to produce the highest quality finish joint for your business. So thanks again, and please send us your samples.